do maybe 10. These 10 exchanges don't count. Hands only. Right? We're just going to do nothing but target each other's hands. Do whatever you want to try to avoid getting hit and so on. But I just want to try to, think about the full spectrum of the art, but just target it at the hand. Good. Couple more. Cool. Right. Anyway. So, what were your impressions?
Whenever I would go hard to try to take from your inside to your out, you'd kind of weaken, just hit low on my inside line for my hands.
Yep.
I just don't know, because I think that's it. I think that's what's going on when it affects people. I just don't recognize what other people are doing.
Okay. All right. I know what the problem is. So that is happening. What you just described, definitely. You're still hesitating because you're not certain when you have a position you can take advantage of, and a lot of it is the hesitation. If you didn't have the hesitation, things would improve a bit. But fundamentally, there's okay. Go to 1 point. So first of all, why is that you want? You know better than that, right? So remember, the wrist should be nice and comfortable. The sword is in a very shallow V, right? Because it's the halfway point of a cut, right? I know that you don't cut like this, right? So your long point shouldn't be like this either. So long point, right? You're doing a push-up, and your sword is a push-up. Yeah. So that's one thing, right? So instantly went back to the old one. So if I want to take your sword and be safe from your hands, okay? Point this way here, right? Remember, you're playing a dope that I'm going to take advantage of. So you're not actually doing a lump point intelligently, even though I'm correcting you on it, right? So if I want to take your point, right? I want to come in here. This makes me safe from your touch my hand, right? Right. So go back. Okay. So if I'm here, take the shortest path to hit my hand. Okay. Is that the shortest path?
I don't think that's the shortest path.
Then try again. Right. We're the same. We can try this forever.
Am I still pretending to be a dope?
You can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. That works? Sure. What if I do this? That's not the shortest path, I promise. Nope. Okay. So what you were doing was, you take my sword the way you were, you're coming in. You weren't doing this though, because if you were doing that, I wouldn't have been able to hit your
I
hand.
was doing.
No, what you're doing is my sword's up here, right? Take the line. Keep going, right? Try to. You're doing something to me, right? So, what you're doing is, I don't actually know if I want to tell you. I want you to figure this out, because it is a feeling thing, but it's. I only noticed it sort of like halfway at the end, right? It's a. Go to one point again. Doesn't matter what, right? So, depending on where I contact your sword, right, it's going to give you basically, you have to get around this point. So wherever this point is, gives you different options for how to move your sword to get around mine, right? So if the game is just to get out from under my sword, put your sword out, right? Get out from under my sword. Perfect. Get out from under my sword. Right? Get out from under my sword. Yeah. All of those things are going to be different even though you're doing the same thing, right? So when try to point right here, and I'm going to move your sword, and I want you to just, as fast as you can, get back to pointing here, right? Yeah, you don't have to thrust. I want you to just stand there because I'm just going to stick with the sword a little while. Yeah, right, you get it. So if I'm attacking you, what I want to do is put my sword into position that the fastest opportunity that you have to either get above my sword or target my hands or whatever is going to force you to move, right? So go to long point again. If I attack you here, you cannot hit my hands without a really big movement, right? Whereas if I attack you here, you can hit my hands with a very, very, very small movement, right? So what's the difference geometrically, go to one point again, between when I make my attack here versus when I make my attack here? It's not a trick question, it's simple. So just go down the list of the obvious ones, right?
You're going deeper on my sword.
I'm going deeper on your sword. What does that mean to you geometrically?
I mean, you're closer to me.
Yeah.
So that gives me less timing.
Uh-huh.
So I have to do bigger actions.
Yeah.
Because you're in between both my circles, the circle,
Yeah.
and the circle.
Okay, so then, right? So with that in mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your job is mostly just to prevent me from hitting you in the hands. So make your attack, right? And put your sword in a place that forces me to take the longest possible route between where my sword is and your hands. Okay? Yeah, that's good. So let's stay there, right? I could maybe, if I'm super quick, yeah, I could go around that, but you're correcting that. I can come under, but I don't have a good target, and you can forestall that. You can even do sparing, okay? And keep my sword that way, right? So again, probably the best option I have is this, because this completely prevents any attack on this line unless you do a Mutirin, right? But if you do a Mutirin, I should already be stepping this way, and I'm preparing an attack overhand, right? So if you hit my sword where exactly you did, right, I have a brief timing window where I could maybe Durkvexel and put the point back in your face. I could, if I'm equally quick, maybe do something like this, right? Those are both super quick, but they're depending on, I have to do it right away, right? The timing window is very, very tight. Lastly, though, if you come in so fast that I don't immediately do this, or I don't immediately do this, and you're able to control my sword and get a little bit deeper, go ahead, right? When I'm here, this is your opportunity to slice, right? Don't come off my sword, come straight through. So like, yeah, right? Like that, yes, yeah. Come.
Yeah, you
so
do
that's
that.
perfect.
You
Yes.
did that to me a couple of times.
Yeah, right? And it's because you force me into, this is my best action, and you know that that's my best action, so you know that I'm probably going to take it, because I'm just going to move on what feels best, and the thing that feels best is this right now, right? So, try to, just the same thing, contact my sword and kind of walk in. You'll get like one step, right? Something like that, right? And try to put my sword in a position where I'm going to very slowly do the thing that makes the most sense to me, and I want you to see if you know what it is and can anticipate what I'm going to do, right? So remember, my options are essentially Dirk Vexel, Obgenomen, or some sort of, you know, satanic version of same. Or I can do this and cut around, right? Those are essentially my three options. There's some other ones, but don't worry about it for now. So I want you to try to put me in a position where I'm going to do the thing you are predicting. It doesn't matter what it is. I just want you to have something in mind, and then afterward you can talk about it.
Okay.
Go ahead. Yeah, and stay there once you get there, right? Okay, so I could, yeah, I mean, basically this is my only real option, right? I'm probably going to try to step this way if I can, or that way, or whatever. But if I've let you get this deep, this is almost inevitably going to happen. Almost every freaking time, right? Okay. So now try to find the distance at which my cleanest, fastest action, I don't have to step back, it's just a Dirk Vexel. Yeah, perfect, yeah, thanks. So you know my Dirk Vexel's here. Yeah. So when you're assaulting me, if you want your opponent to Dirk Vexel, you contact their sword earlier in your attack than if you want them to go up like this. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Right? And it's useful for you to know because if most of your opponents are going to be doing stuff automatically. So when you're fencing somebody and they're staying like this and they're being really, you know, douchey about everything, you're not going to be able to get them to react in the first moment, like to get you to a bind, right? But you are going to get them to fucking move. So when you're attacking somebody here, you're not attacking them here because they're not just going to do this compliantly. What they're probably going to do is get their sword free and then cut to where you're open. So the thing that's actually risky for you when you're attacking somebody here isn't this, because this is fucking nothing. This accomplishes absolutely goddamn nothing. What you want them to do is get them to move to the position where they think that they are in charge and they can attack your hand, right? So working on it like this gives you the sort of theoretical basis, because you know that if you give me something to think about, I'm going to do this. You know I'm going to do that, because when you're contacting on the weak toward the point like this, you know that the moment that I see that you threaten control of my sword, I'm going to do this. And now, me, what I'm going to do if I'm ever forced to Dirk Vexel is I go forward, because the time that I have to take this movement, I also have to use to put threat against you, unless otherwise I'm just putting my sword on the other side of your sword, and all you have to do is turn your long edge. So if I'm closing the distance at the same time, now suddenly you have to deal with something a lot more important than just this, right? So now you know that if you force me into a Dirk Vexel, I might attack you, right? So if you know that, yeah, right, and you just know that now. But now you also know, go to long point, that if you want to get me to make a Dirk Vexel, right? Maybe somebody doesn't, they don't wait until there's contact on this sword, they just do it just because you're coming, right? Right, so I want you to Dirk Vexel, so, right? That's all I have to do is wait for you until your point leaves. The moment I feel soft, I go, right? So, depending on who you're fencing, try to think about, again, sort of segmenting their sword between they have a tiny little movement of the point that they can use versus they have to take this big, huge full body action that's going to open them up to 2 or 3 different types of attack, right? So that's that's portion number 1. I've already explained that to you a couple of times, I'm sure. Portion number 2 is when you were getting hit in the hands, right? What was happening was, do you think you could reconstruct one of your normal attacks from earlier?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's kind of like.
Kind of. It's kind of like that.
Like, I feel like I was doing something like this where my threat was kind of way off, and I wasn't like, even if I would take strong, I wouldn't go forward.
Okay. All right. Go to long point. You're gonna be me. I'm gonna be you attacking me, right? So a lot of times what you would do is you're crossed. So do that again, right? So you're essentially making it so that I can only find you on the outside, which if that's what you want is fine. What I don't necessarily want that, because it's I don't want people to attack my line. I want them to attack my inside line. So my long point is sort of like this until I have a moment, I have a reason to close off the line, right? So you're being super, super, super closed off right now, which means I'm not even going to bother attacking you on your left side because your right side is wide open, right? So do that again, right? My attack's this. And there's not a lot you can do about it except shorten your arms, bring them up. And if you do that, I got here, I got here, I got here, I got here, right? So wait until I'm close enough to make my cut, or even just wait until the cut's in motion, and then make the parry rather than forestalling this thing. Because I think what you're doing at Keizu, everybody knows what you're going to do because you've probably done it 100 times, right? So they know you're going to be blocking off the open line, and then you're going to come in behind it, and they've got all the time in the world they can do whatever, right? So the I'm so bad at this.
Be less passive, be more proactive.
You have to be more proactive, yeah, but you also have to understand that like you're not fighting in the first action, right? Your first action isn't a taker. You're not going to get them into a bind. They're always going to flee. They're always going to try to hit you in the hands. So you're trying to find a way to provoke their movement into their phase 2, which is cut your hands, so that you can get them to cut at your hands at a predictable line so that you can take it to them, right? Obviously, that's what we've been working on for like a year. But, so point right here, right? So if I want to take your sword, and I want to make sure that you can't hit me in the hand safely when I attack, well, do that. Okay, I'm going to attack 4 times. I'm going to do the first 2 are going to be how I would do it, and the second 2 I'm going to do it how you did it, and I want you to tell me what the difference is. Okay? So go ahead. Just go to 1 point. Be very compliant, right? Whoop. Be compliant.
Sorry.
I mean, that was perfect if that's what you wanted to do, right?
Yeah,
no. So, right, we're playing around, right? I take your sword. Okay? What can you do for me? Basically follow, right?
I'm dead.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to do that again. Okay, what can you do for me? Yeah. I mean, that works too. Yeah, going in for an overwrap and stuff, that would also work. So now I'm going to do what you were doing, and I want you to tell me what's different. One more time. Let's rotate around to the camera. Right? What's the difference?
There's a hesitation on the initial pressure, but it's elongated. It's not like an instantaneous thing.
Yes. There's also, so that's part of it. All right, I'm going to do the 2 different ones again, right? So the first one is, don't worry about necessarily exactly where I'm hitting the sword or whatever. Worry about sort of the pressure I'm putting on your sword.
Gotcha.
Okay?
Okay.
So, what's the difference?
It's not hard pressure, but it's there.
Yeah.
That makes
Could
sense.
you do the difference to me?
Yeah.
Okay. Versus. Not quite. Because you did the same thing that you weren't doing.
Oh no.
Twice this way. It's okay. Don't worry. Take my sword.
Good way?
Good way. Yes. Okay. Good. Take my sword again. Good. Okay. It's getting there.
Be honest. Be correct.
No, the thing is, so you're doing things now that you weren't doing when you're fencing.
Oh god.
Let's mask up and do it. I want to see if we can.
Making it cortisol will make it worse.
You'll see it on the video, I'm sure. It's genuinely not a big mistake. It is, it's about, I don't think we've ever talked about this aspect of applying it yet. So, there's a reason I think you're not fumbling. It's just like I noticed a very peculiar thing that I don't think you were conscious of. And your unconsciousness of it is why it's a problem. And now that I'm going to make sure you're conscious of it, and then you're going to be self-conscious about it for a while, and then you'll close it up and be fine.
Thanks, Adam.
Okay, so again, give me just a center long point so I can take your sword for free. What I'm going to do is the same thing, right? I'm gonna come in and take your sword, and I want you to see if you can get your sword under mine and make a cut to my hands. All right? So I'm just going to do just a few, just to see what you can do.
Okay.
So go ahead, go to long point. Okay. Don't react until you know the feeling. I know I tell you not to hesitate, and now I tell you to think about everything, but, you know.
Think, Isaiah, think.
Yeah. So remember, try to do this. Yeah. Okay. Did you notice a difference?
I do. I'm trying to articulate it. It's
Versus. Yes. What's the difference?
going too strong on the end of the sword.
No, not necessarily. It's literally just verticality. That's it. That's it. So when you're at long, when I was doing your attack, what I was doing is I push your sword out of the way. I've got the line, and I just walk in like this. And the thing is, right, if I'm on the middle of your sword, and I'm not on my cross guard, you have all of this to play with, right? And so when you're getting hit on the inside of your hands, I think what's probably happening is you're bound, but when you bind, you come up with your hands like this, and you have all this opening for hand hunters to hunt. And they're not even going to do a cool Zwerchal, they're just going to do this, right? You're doing a cool-ass Zwerchal, which is awesome, and they're not, right? So that's literally it. It's that you're being impolite to your opponent in only one degree. What do you call that? One. There's this dimension.
Okay.
Yeah. You're being rude in this dimension, in the horizontal direction, but you're being very, very kind and compliant in the vertical direction. So when you take somebody's sword, it's not just about pushing their point to the side. It's about pushing their sword down and getting on top of it. And if I don't want you to hit my hands, what I'm going to do is force your point down so that the only line that you have in my hands is through my cross guard. And from here, how many ways can I hit you?
Too many.
Literally any. Yes. Versus you have to get your sword out before you can hit me.
Right.
Right? So that's partially what's happening. Is that you're coming in on the kind of high line and your point's way the fuck up above my shoulder, and I've got all that room all the time, every time. So if you take my point and then bring, as you get closer, right? Yeah. Because, so why do you want to, go to long point again? Why do you not just want to do this?
That.
Obviously, if, you don't have to do the cartoon body mechanics, right? But like, why don't I want to do this?
Because it gives me a lot of strong to go weak off.
Yeah, yeah. I'm giving you a ton of energy onto your sword when giving you energy only works against you, right? So this is a similar thing, right? If you are in over and you want to hit my hands, right? The first thing I do is this, then I do this, then I do this. So it's a graduated thing. I'm not just going like that.
Damn
right?
it, why doesn't the book work?
Yeah. What I'm doing is getting the high position, covering the high position, using that coverage to close range, and then I've got it, right? And it's the same in every single attack. So if even you're at long point, right? I make the first contact, I gain strength, I push your point down as I come in, right?
Right.
So it's pushing the point down is also what?
Uberlaufen.
Uberlaufen, yes, obviously, yeah, good. But so what's it going to make me do versus just pushing my point to the side?
It's going to force you to do a larger action.
This. Yeah. Pushing my point down means the lower my point goes, the more likely it is I do this, because the better an option that is in that situation.
You get your hands up.
Yeah, because I get my hands up and my sword's free, and I feel really great. And if I'm stepping, I'm getting out of the way of danger for the most part. But again, it is very slow. It's big step, big cut. And all you have to do is essentially, if you've got me in this position, you could do that, right? You could also, as soon as my hands go up, you could just cut and go. Yeah. Yeah. You could even, you don't have to step forward that way, right? So if I get your hands down, I see them coming up. Right? The moment I see my opponent's feet stop and their hands go up, again, the time that you take for your hands to go up, I can do anything I want. Anything I want, right? And if they are being intelligent, right, and you push the point, you come forward, and they do this, right, you know if they're stepping to step that way, and right, and now I'm here and you're there in long point, and you can either just completely take my cut that's coming in because you know it is, or you can just step back and start over, right? But you are in control of what I do when you're attacking. Same thing, hands only, and let's see what you got. Okay. I want to break that one down just again. So what I did was this. What did you do? You went Duraflexel. You just did this, right? Duraflexel.
Yeah. Duraflexel.
Yep. And I did this, right? And that was just to set up the hip, right? So just because, like we were just talking about, right? I moved your point. You gave me time, and in the time you gave me, I took a stronger position. So if somebody's lively at the point like that, you can use that because a lot of times people will do something like this. Well, just be compliant, right? They'll do something like this. And they'll have a position of strength and completely fucking give it up because they don't actually know that fencing is happening, right? I just wanted to point that out because I pushed this over, you jerk back forward, I took the position, yeah. And if you would come in like that, you wouldn't have given me any time. Perfect. All right, let's keep going. Good, good, good. Oh. So that was actually the secret fourth thing, which is neither this nor this. Well, actually, I guess technically it's the second thing, because you came back like this. But okay, when you see, we're going to keep going after this, and I'm not going to do it right away, but when you see somebody doing this, how are you reacting?
I have like a bad habit of trying to go into flute to like, oh, my hands.
Yes. What should you do?
Should I just...
Not necessarily like rush forward. You don't have to make an attack. But if you see my point dropping and I'm coming forward, yes. Yeah. And you don't even have to do a big one. If you were doing that to me, right? That's all it has to be. I mean, you could even do something like when they drop like this.
Oh.
This is Sperren, right? So Sperren can be like this. But if you're an Ober, right? It can also be this. Just because now, you're either going to come through my soft sword that way, right? And I know what to do. Or you're going to slam up into my crossguard from outside. Or more likely, you're going to draw your sword up either on that side or to your left, and you're going to try to make a big attack. Right? And it's just, I think it's stronger to do this, but if you can, this works just fine too. And because it's low, it doesn't necessarily matter that I'm technically weaker, because the only thing I want for this is to delay your attack. I don't want you to go straight to my hands, and I want to make sure that any attack that you have to another part of my body, you have to do something big to prepare for. Okay? All right. Let's go to 5. Just hand cuts. Like that, that's good. That was perfect. That was beautiful. I couldn't do a goddamn thing. Good. Perfect. Okay. Let's take a break. Okay, so 5 factual, 5 thrust, and then 5 just normal, whatever. Oh, no! That's 1. No. Oh, no! That's 2. Oh. I drag it into my own head. One more. Tires your arms, huh?
Yeah. Well, factory gremlin now I have.
Yeah. We did it. Finally. Okay. Thrust only.
Thrust. Yep.
I hope the camera got that. That was you. That hole, dude. Three. Nice. One more. What kind of? Nice. Good. Perfect. Perfect. That was absolutely perfect. No! Here first.
No quality.
It's you. Two more. No! That's what I was doing. Okay.
Man.
He's gonna walk forward. If I jerk back the well, it was what I was telling you before. Yeah. Well, I mean, you just said that, so. But it was. You forced the jerk Vexel, and if I just did it, well, you walk in on it. I was like, I told him before. So. How'd that feel?
That felt really good.
Yeah. I'll leave this on for now. You were much harder to hit in the hands, and when you were taking strong positions, it felt way stronger. And I wasn't kidding that the thrust here was fucking perfect, because you got my sword, you walked in on it immediately, you felt my stiffening resistance, and you just stayed there and guided the point, and it was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. I only hope that we weren't off the camera when you got it.
Dude, I was like, I'm gonna slice a sword because he's gonna think, oh, I'm gonna dirk Vexel. I was like, no, you're gonna.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good.
Thanks, Adam.
Yeah. I had the sense you were. I mean, you were tired by the time we got to the everything goes sort of thing, and it makes a big difference, obviously. But that was sort of on purpose, because I wanted you to be tired by the time you had to consider defending your hands, and by the time I was trying to go for them, you were way better at closing it. And I was also missing a lot more because I was tired too, which is probably more similar to what it's like fencing with other people than normal.
Well, I was thinking less.
Good.
Like, not tremendously so. I'm like, easy peasy, but it's like, hey, like locking out and taking these stronger positions to make it so I don't get this boat.